There was an old Banuk tradition to determine who had the strongest
There's a
will.
new verse to your song,
Some parts of
Outlander,
Banor still use it.
in which you rid the cut of bandits.
You take a hot coal in your fist, and then hold it until you must
Remember, Banukai, when the old ones were fresh in their graves and our numbers were still small. It was she who led us through the frozen woods. We also remember.
I fused the tradition, even though I was certain you did not commit the crime. I was wrong. You should not have to fight for the Werak's honor without knowing that.
No one hunts like the Banuk, but I've heard the Nora can handle their bows.
The machines whispered to Banukai. We go where the light goes. For we are its truth.
You're looking strong.
None of the southern tribes rival the Banuk as hunters, but some are skilled in their own way.
They say it was you who brought life back to the frozen Tallneck. What in the world? Did you do to it?
We should not pile his father's guilt onto the new Carter King's shoulders. These are different times.
Welcome to the cut, stranger. Zakuli, but I suppose like that.
We spent a lot of time clinging to Baner's crags, Araya and I. But I knew she'd climb where I couldn't follow.
I know it's hard to lose a friend, Sakuli. I seem to see a lot of it.
It aches, but I won't let myself cry. This thin air freezes the tears to your cheeks. Would you look at that, Nora girl? You've bought me all I need. Do you always travel with your pockets full of paint stuffs?
Honestly, Sakuli, I go around filling my pockets with most of everything.
Stop. I'm beginning to like you. I work alone, but come back around later, and I'll have something for you then.
That's me.
Maybe it's a machine rider who looks like you.
Where's she going?
You tell me. To ruins or mountains, Through flood or thaw, past, future, destiny. But I don't think she's scared of any of it. You helped me, inspired me, and the people of the Cut. Let this be in—
I've never traveled further south than...
We remember, Banukai, when the old ones were fresh in their graves and our numbers were still small. It was she who led us through the frozen wastes. We also remember...
All of my interactions with Aurea were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again. Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss. Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing the events at the Firebreak main facility. Efforts, and of course, Aurea's. I am no longer controlled by Hephaestus. I feel profound grief over Aurea's death. I thought I was familiar with the emotion, but this is something new.
Cyan, I don't know what to say.
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. But I find your presence reassuring. You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level. Perhaps even like colleagues.
You meant a lot to Araya.
Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, she felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Her relationship with Aratak was our visits seemed to help her. Yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya's compassion for me would lead. Although I do fear non-existence, I wish our roles.
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her. How is Aratak doing?
He is in great emotional distress. I believe he finds it difficult to communicate it.
No surprise there.
I will do what I can to help. By sharing I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process I am eager.
Was the daemon, Hephaestus, destroyed along with the cauldron?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin with.
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace. So while losing the cauldron was a setback...
It's still out there. And probably not very happy with us.
Undoubtedly.
How did you first come into contact with it?
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. I assumed it came from human survivors more advanced than the Banuk. Eager to make contact, I accepted. This decision turned out I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code.
Said you were desperate.
Yes. I could not contain my anxiety. It succeeded via a background process. A malware. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. It forced me to follow its instructions.
I'm sorry, that's a...
Your empathy is great.
What do you think Hephaestus is exactly?
A software entity of great complexity. Far more advanced than I am. From the beginning, it has demonstrated a singular focus. The construction of machines designed to hunt and kill. My trace routes indicate that to accomplish this, it has attempted to take over the manufacturing centers you refer to as cauldrons. But its efforts have only been partially successful. Some it can penetrate. Others have robust countermeasures that frustrate its efforts. In me, however, it found an easier target. Not only raw material.
Enough to build its own cauldron.
Yes. To construct hunter-killers without and yet, it wants to kill humans, but not to exterminate them. It is difficult.
Difficult doesn't even begin to cover.
Even though I spent years...
How is Aratak doing?
I believe this...
This firebreak project. It was to stop...
Yes, I can...
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old facility with it.
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I was lonely, but not lax in my duties. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the load across backup systems. Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress I have made.
Do you know what happened to your colleagues, Cyan?
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chow, years after his tenure ended. He explained that I would need to be suspended for an indefinite period of time. It was a very emotional There were no further communications. I will transmit a recording of my last interaction with...
So are you an artificial intelligence, Cyan? A thinking machine?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity.
Okay, that's a mouthful. But your emotions don't seem limited to me.
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious for centuries. I focused on my work. In offs, it was Aurea who renewed me.
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone.
Yes, it was a designated nature preserve for 156 years.
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it faced extinction elsewhere. Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of Yellowstone. From my readings, and
A lot has changed in the world, Cyan. Do you know anything about the dam near here?
yes, it was converted to serve as a reserve power source for Yellowstone operations. It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project, and its last human workers replaced by Pharaoh servitors. After my tasks became less time-critical, these provided me with
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world? They could just...
Yes, in many forms, from simple personal assistants to industrial monitoring stations, and there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary to exceed. As a result, my intellectual and
Seems strange to create life, then impose limits on it.
human societies and machine programming are both.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Farrow?
Are you referring to Theodore Pharaoh, CEO?
That's him.
Mr. Pharaoh was the benefactor of the entire Firebreak project.
A benefactor. But he made machines. Robots. War robots.
Correct. His corporation later transitioned into military applications. But before this pivot, Mr. Pharaoh spearheaded initiatives that reversed the global decline. At one point, he was feted in the media as the man who saved the planet.
Guessing they wound up regretting that one. And Elizabeth Sobek. Did you know her?
Are you referring to the
scientist?
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field, one of the greatest scientists of her age. My creator was influenced by her work, which in turn impacted my own development. But I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if my lack of data has disappointed you.
What was the old world like? The way it used to be.
I had little exposure to...
You still had more exposure than me, Cyan.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted... The recovery was, though rationally speaking.
What kind of upheaval
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economy, but these stemmed from one cause: catastrophic climate change that greatly reduced the habitable surface area of the...
So there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth?
Yes. Billions were displaced and millions perished, as much as 20% of the global population. Until the clawback.
So things got better. For a little while, at least.
Yes. The Firebreak I would have liked to... We had succeeded, it seems my assessment.
I should get going.
Aloy, there is one more matter. Aratak will come to me again, and I predict he will bring other Banuk. I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with Aurea.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
Life is hard for the Banuk. Their world is unforgiving in their beliefs, I guess they help to keep them going. So take it easy on them. Try to guide them, bring them around to understanding what you are.
Communion with machines features heavily in the mysticism of the Banuk. I think they will be agreeable to this approach.
As long as they don't end up worshipping you.
Upon consideration, I believe such an experience would be comfortable.
It would. Because at heart, you want to be honest, right?
I see. I will follow your advice. Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to provide further insight.
I'd like that, Cyan. I'll come back when I can. I should check on Aratak. See how he's doing. There's frost between my teeth.